Hey everybody, good afternoon and welcome to Terminal 3 here at LAX. We have an exciting flight coming up tonight from LA to Honolulu on the Delta 767-300, and I'm excited for the journey today. It's time to get checked in, get my bag checked, and head through security, and I'll check back in after that. So that was an interesting experience. This on-ground experience at Delta has kind of been a series of good news and bad news. So start with the bad news. There, for whatever reason, was no pre-check on my boarding pass. I kind of am surprised by that because I know my KTN was on my reservation and on my Delta account. So I don't know how it didn't end up there, but it is what it is. I guess the good news is that I didn't get the quadruple S on my boarding pass, which, since this is a bunch of one-way flights that I'm taking in a row, I feel like is a guarantee at some point, which I've never had before, but not looking forward to when that does happen. So I'm glad it wasn't today. Unfortunately, since the regular TSA boarding line was a little bit longer than anticipated, it kind of means they don't have too much time to walk around here, which is a shame. If anybody's ever at LAX, now that all terminals are connected airside, I highly suggest you go to the international terminal and just look at some cool planes. I should probably be at my gate in about an hour or so. So I'm glad that at least I have a little bit of time to relax. I don't believe there's going to be a meal on the flight, so maybe I'll grab some food to take on the plane. But yeah, overall, it wasn't that bad. The bag checking was a little bit strange because it was entirely like by yourself. There was no person to interact with, which was fine. Just the scanner didn't work for a while. Overall though, maybe only half an hour or so to get through that whole process, which, all things considered, not that bad. And I'm grateful to be at the airport on time and ready for my flight. So the flight today is in economy. I know I said that I'd have some business class flights coming up a little bit later on this trip, and there are, but this is not one of them. This is only a 6-hour flight, and it's not going to be overnight or anything like that, and I'm going to be perfectly fine in economy. It's a wide body, so I should have some extra room compared to like a 737 or something, which is why I chose Delta for this flight. And it also gave me pretty much most of the day here in LA to hang out. So one quick tip about LAX. One of the main complaints that this airport gets is that there are no lounges available if you have Priority Pass. And as somebody that has Priority Pass, that does kind of suck. I didn't even bring it up in my video flying to LA because Newark also doesn't have any options for Priority Pass, but in LA, with it being such a big airport, it does kind of suck. But what I will say is, in the international terminal right here, when you go to gates 201 to 225, there's almost nobody here ever. If you want some space to be quiet and get some work done, or if you want to have some time just to stretch out, this is where you go. It's a little bit of a walk, even from the rest of the international terminal. It's probably like 20 minutes or so to get over here. Now, a couple things I will say about my flight coming up is the Wi-Fi situation is something that I've been a little bit confused by. Originally, I was not under the impression that I was going to have internet on this flight. On Delta's website, they say that they do not have Wi-Fi on their flights to Hawaii, which is fine. And then I checked the website when I was checking in this morning, and it said that I would have Wi-Fi. And then I got an email a couple hours later saying again that I do not. So I'm gonna go under the assumption that I don't. Overall, I would say that I have, honestly, maybe lower expectations than I should, because the Wi-Fi situation is kind of lame. But you know, we'll see. And also, I think it's ridiculous that flights to Hawaii that take off at like 6 o'clock don't have any kind of meal service. I'll probably end up having to buy something on board because the flight takes off at 6. We land in Hawaii around 9, 10, somewhere in that hour, looking at the history of it on FlightAware. And that's just a really unfortunate timing for a flight to not have food, because pretty much the entire dinner hours is going to be spent in the air. And I don't think that whatever snack they give is going to make up for the meal that I'll be missing. So I ultimately did want to walk over here to the gates here just to show you all what exactly it looked like. And as you can tell, it's so quiet. There's somebody cleaning over there, but other than that, I've seen maybe 4 or 5 passengers in this entire wing of the terminal. And I've never seen it be more busy than this. It's always about at this level. I'm guessing that the Bradley International Terminal wants to host a lot more flights in the future, so they needed this space to be able to accommodate that. But it's probably going to take a while to get that all situated. And for now, this is just a peaceful, beautiful, serene place that still has quite a bit of shops, honestly, if you want to get some food or buy a souvenir or anything like that. So it's probably about time for me to start heading to the gate, since we're boarding in about 30 minutes, and it's going to be about a 30-minute walk for me to get to my gate. Is there any airport in the entire world that has quite the feeling that LAX has? It's so exciting in the international terminal, getting ready to board a flight. The energy is just so palpable, and I really enjoy it every single time that I'm flying through here. I was really impressed by how much seating there was over in the gate area. As you can see, there's really not a lack of seats for anybody, and I wasn't here for long before the flight, but the time that I had here was perfectly enjoyable. First impressions of the seat were very positive. I did not expect to be in an emergency exit row, and I was very grateful to have one. As a tall guy, it really is important to me, and also getting a blanket was nice too. Hey everybody, so we're a couple hours into the flight and I have a little bit of an update. There's a problem with the window on my seat where it doesn't actually have a traditional shade that can open and close. A little bit annoying, but it's a night flight, so not the end of the world. If this was a morning flight where I'd want to sleep, that would be a problem though. Food was fine. We had an offering between a few different snacks like sun chips and cookies and stuff like that. I went with the sun chips. It was good, but really it was a small bag, and the drink was also a lot smaller than what you normally see on airlines, which honestly for a 5-hour flight that's leaving at prime dinner time and lands too late to get dinner in most cases, it's pretty disappointing. There also is seemingly no menu working in the in-flight entertainment to be able to check what food you can order on board. Which is a little bit of a shame, because for me personally, I was actually thinking about flying on board. I have a very early flight in the morning from Honolulu, so was really hoping to be able to get as much sleep as I could tonight. And also, before I forget it, a couple things that I wanted to point out. Number one, the light does not seem to be working at my seat, which is a shame, because I was reading a book, and now that the lights have gone off in the cabin after everybody's gotten a snack, I can no longer read my book, which is a shame. And then secondly, there is actually Wi-Fi on board on this flight, which is not what I was expecting at all. But the problem is that it doesn't seem to be free. I can get messaging for free, and I've used it, and it's fine even now as I'm a couple hours in the Pacific Ocean. But I haven't actually found Wi-Fi for free, and I have T-Mobile, so I should have it covered from that for at least some Delta flights, and then also it's just supposed to be free for SkyMiles members, of which I am one. Now, right before landing, we were offered a second meal service, which consisted of cookies and another drink. While it wasn't much, I did appreciate that at least there was a second service. So as we approach Honolulu, let's talk a little bit about pricing for this flight. I paid $178.20 plus $35 for my checked bag. I feel that this is actually pretty solid value for what's a 6-hour flight from the west coast to Hawaii. Overall, I would rate this flight pretty poorly. Nothing was that great about it except for the seat, and I think I would give it maybe a 4 out of 10. Good evening and welcome to Honolulu. I landed and got my bags not too long ago, and now it's about a 20-minute wait for the lift to get here and then I can get to my hotel. The choice was between a Lyft that I had to wait 20 minutes for or an Uber that was priced about double what it should be, and I'm choosing to save the money. Maybe I'll regret that tomorrow since I have such an early flight in the morning, but time will tell on that front. Overall, I'm actually pretty unimpressed with Delta for a couple of the reasons. Some of the ones that I mentioned during the flight, but Additionally, I actually kind of think the service wasn't that great. I'm not one to really ever complain about service. Flight attendants work hard and they do their best and it's a tough job, but that doesn't really excuse the fact that they were kind of dismissive today. Um, I think the thing that really stands out to me is that there's agricultural forms that you have to fill out in Hawaii, similar to customs forms when you go to a foreign country. And I just got a new backpack. I don't have a pen or pencil with me to fill that out. So I asked to see if they were running on the plane, and the flight attendant kind of rudely said no and completely dismissed what I was saying, and I was left pretty confused. Anyways, I'll be back here early in the morning, and if you saw the United plane that I shot earlier, then you will get a hint as what my next flight will be, and I hope you're all excited for the video, as it's something that's been on my bucket list for a long time. So I'll be back here in about 7 hours, but until then, I'll see you all next time. Thanks.